Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to show you my predictions for the 2024 Wimbledon Championship for both the men's and the women's draw. And let's get started with the women. I'm not going to discuss every single first round match, but I am going to point out some interesting ones. And Swiatek against Kenin sure is an interesting first round match, but I have Iga coming through this one. Siniakova is very good on grass. I have her coming through the third round, but Iga is going to be too strong for her. Ostapenko is a good grass court player. However, this year she has not been playing well in the warm-up tournaments. Tomljanovic, on the other hand, has been playing well. She's made a final, and I have her going all the way to the fourth round, which is a surprise. But there, Iga is going to be too strong. Collins has not played a warm-up tournament, but she has a pretty comfortable draw. The first round will be tricky. I think Danielle's going to make it through that one. She's going to win the second round. In the third round, I have her beating Haddad Maia. And in the fourth round, I have Danielle facing Vondrousova, last year's champion. I do think that Vondrousova is going to make it through the first three rounds. And I'm picking Danielle to win this one. So I'm picking Danielle to reach the quarters, despite not having played any warm-up tournaments. However, in the quarters, Iga is going to be too strong, and she's going to go into the semis. Now, the bottom section of the top half is super tricky because Rybakina has not been playing well, and she's also been dealing with some health issues, so it's a tricky call to make. But I do think that the first two rounds especially are going to be comfortable for Rybakina, and I have Leila Fernandez going through the third round. She's going to have a tough second round match against Parks, who I'm picking to beat Caroline Wozniacki. And I do think that Rybakina makes it through Fernandez and goes into the fourth round. So here's where things get interesting. I have Samsonova against Kalinskaya in the third round, with Kalinskaya winning that match. She was in the final of Berlin, had 4 match points against Pegula. So for that reason and the fact that she's a good grass court player, I have the upset in the fourth round with Kalinskaya beating Rybakina. On the very bottom of the top half, I have Jabeur going through the fourth round against Pegula. And I do think that Pegula, by winning her first 500 title in Berlin, has a lot of confidence right now, and I have her going to the quarters. So let's take a look at the quarterfinal matches on the top half. I have Swiatek against Collins, with Iga coming through that one, and I have Kalinskaya against Pegula, with Pegula coming through that one. We're going to get back to the semis of the top half later, but first let's take a look at the bottom half of the draw, and here things are going to get very interesting. I do have Zheng going to the fourth round, and interestingly, I have Raducanu going all the way to the fourth round. This is going to be a tough first round match for Raducanu against Alexandrova, who's one of the best servers, but I do think that Raducanu is playing well. She beat Pegula this week. Mertens is going to be another tough match, and she has an opportunity in this section of the draw because Sakkari is 9th seed, but she has not been playing well as of late, and grass is not her favorite surface. And this is going to be an opportunity for Emma Raducanu to make it through the fourth round, where I think the pressure is going to be immense, and I think she's going to go out to Zheng, who will make the quarterfinals. This right here is a really stacked section of the draw with a lot of great players. The first round alone here, Badosa against Muchova, is going to be a really good match. In my opinion, Muchova is one of the best grass court players in the world, and I have her going to the fourth round. Andreeva made the semifinals of the French Open, but I think on grass she is still inexperienced, and I think she's going to lose to Muchova in the second round. Sabalenka is going to have a tricky second round match against Vekic, but I do think that Sabalenka makes it through that one and also through Muchova in the fourth round, and she will reach the quarters. The bottom section of the bottom half is so wide open. Andreescu against Noskova is going to be a tough second round match, but I have Paulini going all the way to the fourth round. I think Madison Keys has an excellent draw. She has a lot of potential on the grass, one of the best servers in the world, a power hitter, and I just have a feeling that Keys is going to make it through this section here and make the quarters. Now on the very bottom, one of the dark horses that I picked in yesterday's video was Schneider, who has a tough first round match against Pliskova, but I think Schneider is going to make it to the fourth round. This is going to be a tough match against Osaka in the third round, but I have her going through. Osaka Navarro is going to be another tough match. Goff actually has a pretty tough draw. First round match against Dolhide on grass is going to be tough, but I think Coco makes it all the way through the fourth round where she's going to face Schneider. I think she's going to be more experienced at these later stages in a Grand Slam, and Coco is going to make the quarters. And I thought long and hard who to pick between Keys and Goff. I was really 50-50 on it, but since Coco has had so much success at the Grand Slam level in her last 3 slams, I picked her to make it to the semis. All right, now let's take a look at the semifinals. On the top half, I have Swiatek against Pegula, and on the bottom half, I have Sabalenka against Goff. I do think that Swiatek and Sabalenka are going to make it through the final, and this might come as a surprise, but I'm picking Iga to win her first Wimbledon title. Now let me tell you my thought process behind this. I think this is a golden opportunity for Iga to win on grass. She has improved her serve. She has improved her return of serve. She is the best mover on tour, which is so important for grass. If you watched my videos yesterday, the fact that she has an extreme grip on her forehand is completely irrelevant. The most dangerous players for Iga on grass, Rybakina and Sabalenka, have not been playing well as of late, and it's unknown whether they're 100% fit. So for that reason, I think this is a golden opportunity for Iga to win on grass, and I think she's going to take the title. All right, on to the men. Sinner has a tricky draw. First round, I think it's going to be a straight set victory for Sinner, but then in the second round, he plays Berrettini. That might be a really tricky match for Sinner, but I do think he's going to make it through. I have Greek Sport going into the third round, and Sinner will make it through that one. Now beneath there, I'm picking Shelton to make it all the way to the fourth round, despite the fact that Shelton hasn't been playing that well on grass. I do think that Ben has a favorable draw, but in the fourth round against Sinner, I don't see Ben winning that one, and I got Sinner going into the quarters. This section right here is a golden opportunity for Dimitrov. He has some tough matches, however. Lajovic, certainly not an easy match, but I do think Grigor wins this one. I got Monfils coming out of this little section right here. I do think Dimitrov will reach the fourth round, where he will face Medvedev, and I think he's gonna win this match and reach the quarterfinals. I was thinking about picking Struff in the third round against Medvedev, and Struff is gonna have a tough match against Zhang as well. This is a tough little section right here, but Medvedev made the semifinals last year, and I have a feeling that he's going to beat Struff. However, Dimitrov has been playing so well over the last 12 months, he will make the quarterfinals. In the quarters, however, Dimitrov is going to get beaten by Sinner, who will make the semifinals. I have Alcaraz going to the quarters. This right here is a really open section because Baez is a high seed. However, he's a clay court specialist, and I don't see him beating Nakashima, which gives other players opportunity, and I do think that Humbert is going to take advantage of that opportunity and make it to the fourth round, but he will lose to Alcaraz. On the very bottom section of the top half is a similar situation with Ruud, who's never been past the second round of Wimbledon. He didn't play any lead-up tournaments on grass. I think Ruud wins the first round against Bolt, but he loses to Köpfer in the second round, which is gonna give Bautista Agut the opportunity to make it to the fourth round. If I take a look at these players here, I do think that Bautista Agut is the best grass court player out of all these guys. I do have an upset here with Bublik beating Paul. I think Bublik is one of the best grass court players in the world. Of course, this depends on form. Bublik can have matches where he underperforms, but if he's pumped to play and motivated, I think Bublik is going to make the quarterfinals. However, he will lose to Alcaraz, who will make the semis. We'll get back to the semis of the top half later. Let's take a look at the bottom half. And the bottom half is really crazy because Djokovic is playing, but we don't know how Djokovic will perform. How fit is he? I have Rublev going into the fourth round. He will play Musetti in the third round, even though Musetti has been winning a lot of matches on grass. I have a feeling that Rublev is going to make it through this one. Tsitsipas does not like playing on grass, is his weakest surface based on results. So for that reason, I have Tsitsipas losing to Korda in the third round. And in the fourth round, Korda versus Rublev, I think this is a golden opportunity for Korda to make it to the quarterfinals, where he will face Fritz in an all-American quarterfinals. Fritz has a tricky draw. There are some tough players that he has to come through, but I do think he's the best player in this little section. He's going to make it to the fourth round, where he will play Zverev, and I got a feeling on grass Despite the fact that Zverev has been playing unbelievably well, something's telling me that Fritz is going to make it through this one. And the quarterfinals between Fritz and Korda, I think Fritz makes the semis. Hurkacz will beat de Minaur in the 4th round. There's an interesting match here between Murray and Mahaj. They played a phenomenal match in Miami earlier this year, but I don't think Murray is fit enough to win this match. So I have Mahaj, who doesn't really have a lot of experience on grass, going into the 3rd round, a match that Hurkacz is going to comfortably win. De Minaur has had a phenomenal year. He won the grass court tournament in Hertogenbosch. He's going to make it through the 4th round, but Hurkacz is one of the best grass court players in the world, best server in the world. Hubi is going to make the quarters. All right, now on to the very bottom, and I have Rune going into the 4th round. Holger has not been playing well. The confidence is quite low, but Holger did play well in Wimbledon last year, and I think the draw is quite comfortable for him, especially in the first 2 rounds. So I have Holger going into the 4th round, where he will face Djokovic. Djokovic has 2 very winnable matches in round 1 and round 2, where he can collect confidence. And when I'm talking about confidence, I'm referring to his body. I'm sure coming out of knee surgery and playing on grass is something that's super difficult, but I think he's going to find his footing in these first 2 matches, and he's going to be strong in the 3rd round, where we'll get a rematch from the 3rd round match in Indian Wells, where Djokovic lost to Nardi. I got Nardi coming through Echeverry in the 1st round, which is an upset. So Djokovic is going to beat Nardi, and then in the 4th round, he will beat Rune. See, what I'm thinking is that Djokovic is going to get stronger each match that he plays. And the quarterfinals between Hurkacz and Djokovic, I'm honestly 50-50 on this one. Hubi has the potential to win this whole tournament, but I just have a gut feeling that Djokovic is going to be so tough to beat at this year's Wimbledon, and I do have him going into the semi. All right, let's take a look at the semifinals. I have Sinner against Alcaraz, and I have Fritz against Djokovic. So I picked Sinner to beat Alcaraz and make it to the final, and I picked Djokovic to beat Fritz and make it to the final. And out of these 2, I'm picking Sinner to win his first Wimbledon. And look, just like Iga, I think it's Sinner's time to shine on grass. On fast surfaces, he's been the dominant player. Let me know what you think about my picks in the comments below.